Alright, so now that you have heard some of the samples that I was using within my own productions, I'm going to go ahead and show you a couple of the websites that you can use to find samples for yourself. Now, the best part about this is that you can get so many free samples online, but if you want to go ahead and get other samples that you can't find for free, you can also find them, and I'm going to show you where. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is switch over my screen and show you a couple of the websites that I use. And when you go over to the assignment for week number 2, what I'm going to start doing is including a link down here for the PDF that outlines all the notes that I'm covering. So that way you will have access to it once the lesson is over. And just to review, these are all the talking points that I will be using throughout my lesson. And down here on all these files that are blue, these are going to be the links that you're going to be clicking for this week's lessons. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is click on the first link over here from Sematics. I have used so many samples from this company, and they make some of the best sample packs, they make some of the best MIDI files, and they also make a lot of really good patches. And the best part about them is they're always trying to help out starting producers, and they're always doing competitions, giving away free samples, and doing a bunch of demonstrations on their website. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is open it up. These are samples that are free on each one of these websites. So when you go ahead and you click on the Sematics link, you can scroll down and they have all of these free downloads. They literally have thousands and thousands of different files you can get, all for free. Another cool thing is they have this selection up here to determine what type of music you want to have. So if you're going to be making hip hop music, you can click on this right here. These are going to be all the free samples and patches that you can get for hip hop music. They also have EDM, which is fairly extensive. They also have dubstep, house, trap. They have guitar sample packs. They have a giant feature bass collection. So this is a very good place for you to get free samples when you're first getting started. And over here, you can also go to producer loops, new loops to get more sounds. And over here, Acapellas for You is where you can get acapellas. And if you are not aware of what an acapella is, this is actually a vocal recording of an artist or of a popular song that you have heard before. And Vocaler is the same exact thing. You can go to that link over there and download as many vocal samples as you want. So that would be my conclusion on where you can find free samples. Down here underneath the free samples is where you can find paid samples. And these are very good websites that I would also recommend. I know we covered in the live feedback session about Splice.com, so I'm going to go ahead and open it. And how Splice works, you would pay for a subscription on a monthly basis, and they give you different credits. So once you join over here and you log in, you have a giant catalog of a whole bunch of different sounds, and they're organized very well, and a lot of people contribute on here. This is like different producers, different artists, like Lex Luger is a really big hip hop producer, so he has very good sample packs. Virtual Riot is a big bass and dubstep producer, so he puts a lot of samples and sound design projects on here. And also Big Head, who's a hip hop producer. So if you're looking to go on and find samples that you can pay for, I would highly recommend using Splice because they give you the option of downloading individual samples or whole entire packs. And they upload this very, very frequently. Going back over here, the company Sematics, they also release sample packs that you can pay for, and those are also very good and very high quality samples that you can get. Same with Prime Loops. If you want to go ahead and check these out on your own time, I would highly recommend it if you want to get some very good audio samples based on your style of production. Now the next thing that I would like to talk about when it comes to producing music is the plugin selection. And the plugin selection is very important because each different genre of music typically uses a completely different set of plugins. And for the first style of music that I would like to discuss, that would be hip hop music. One of my favorite plugins to use when I'm making hip hop music and I'm working with a vocalist is Antares Autotune. And how that works is, I'm sure by now everybody knows what Autotune is because every single hip hop artist of this generation is using it on their vocals. I have tried a couple of different Autotune plugins and that one has been my favorite by far. Another very commonly used plugin by hip hop artists would be Nexus 3. So how Nexus 3 works, it's a very cool software and plugin. When you open it up, you can have different instruments, you can have different progressions, and also different sub and 808 parts. And when hip hop producers are making their 808s, I've seen a lot of them, like Metro Boomin or Lex Luger, go on there and use Nexus 3 to create those samples. The next plugin that I would like to talk about that hip hop producers like to use a lot is called Scalar. This plugin actually tells you which notes and chords you can play within a specific key of music. So when you are writing your music, it tells you all of the right notes that you can potentially play and in what particular order. When you're first getting started and you're not very good at music theory or playing the piano, this is very helpful and it can help teach you how to write better progressions. Now when it comes to electronic music, between house or even trap or bass music, there is a couple of different similarities and a couple of the same plugins that are used. When it comes to house music in particular, I believe that one of the most important things you can do is have a very good sidechain plugin. Now you can do sidechain without buying any fancy plugins, and you can just use the Ableton compressor to accomplish that. And with that being said, there is a lot of different ways that you can sidechain your track. And how a sidechain works, when you have a particular sound, like for example your kick drum, and it's being played, whenever the kick drum plays, all of the sound that is in the kick drum gets ducked down and it gets quieter, and then once the kick drum is finished being played, the rest of the music comes back in and it creates a very cool pulsing effect. So a very popular plugin and my personal favorite for doing sidechain is called LFO Tools. That is a plugin which is made by Zephyr. And that leads me perfectly into the next plugin that we will be talking about, which is Serum. Serum is a very powerful synthesizer. It's a digital synthesizer that you can use within your digital audio workshop, also known as Ableton for our sake. And that is a sound design plugin. So between all the different packs that you can find online, you can also make all of your own sounds and save them in there within your Serum presets. The final plugin that I like using when I'm making house music is called Endless Smile by Data Life. This plugin is used a lot for like build-ups, and it's good for creating tension before the drop of your song happens. There is only 2 knobs on this plugin, and it does look pretty funny. So once you get a chance to check it out, make sure to click the link, and if you feel like getting it, you're going to have a lot of fun using it. The third genre of music that I would like to talk about would be bass music. I think that when it comes to bass music, the sound design is usually very aggressive and also very powerful. And a great way to attain that when you're working with your different synthesizers and subs would be to get a distortion plugin such as iZotope Trash 2. Now, iZotope is a very good music production company. They have a big catalog of different plugins, but iZotope Trash 2 in particular is a very powerful distortion plugin. So if you want to add a little bit more bite and aggression behind your production, adding distortion is a great way to accomplish that. Now for the next plugin that I would like to talk about would be Massive. Massive is also a synthesizer plugin. This one in particular has been around for a very long time, and you can use it for a whole lot of different applications. They recently released an update of Massive X, which is their new interface, and I've been using that recently. If you want to go ahead, you can go ahead and check that out. And you can also download a lot of different presets online. And even better, you can go ahead and download it and start making your own presets on there to use inside of your own production. Sound design is a very important part of becoming a great producer, and I highly encourage everyone to start getting into that as soon as possible. Now, the third plugin that I would like to talk about is called FM8. This plugin was used very heavily by Skrillex when he was first getting started, and that is the reason for why his sound is so unique, because he was using a plugin that not too many people used, and he used that for a lot of his production. Once again, all of these different plugins are listed on the PDF for the lesson plan of the week. You can go ahead and check them out and grab a couple of them and start experimenting.